News, politics, entertainment, and more. Welcome to The Informant. Independent talk, pursuing truth, informing everyone. Now, here is The Informant, Eric Thompson.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to The Informant, and those of you on the East Coast, welcome to the show, too. I know it's early morning there, but I do want to thank you all for joining me. If you're listening to this on a podcast, I hope you enjoyed the show. This is being recorded live at 10 o'clock Pacific time out here in California on Thursday evening, and I do this show Monday through Friday to make sure that I'm getting my thoughts out as The Informant, as a Marine air traffic controller, been an entrepreneur for years. And I am passionate about our country, and living in California, I see the ramifications. I see what America might end up becoming. And trust me, if you lived where I live and you see what I see, then you have to ask yourself, do I want to live in Mexico? Then if the answer is no, you better do something about it. Do I want to live in New Delhi? Do I want to live in India? Do I want to live in Korea? Do I want to live in Singapore? Do I want to live in Thailand? China? I mean, California is basically getting overrun with illegal immigration, with visa overstays, and with all of the H-1 visa workers up at the tech companies who bring over their spouses and family and then start the chain migration, try to get a green card, become citizens. And it's just all the people that have been leaving were basically the patriots. The Americans that said, we're not going to put up with it. And then they're getting backfilled with the world. So I do thank you for listening to this. This will be about an hour long. I do it, like I said, Monday through Friday. You can always catch all the shows on Spreaker. Look up Informant, or you can go over to the-informant.com or over to magabook.com, my social media site, and just look up Informant Show, and you can see the shows. Get a hold of me and give me your ideas and thoughts. Because besides all the politics and stuff that I'm talking about, I do want to I want to have segments coming up. And they're going to be a conspiracy segment, and I'm going to give you the sides, and then I want you to give me your feedback on that's crazy, or I've never really heard it explained from the other side. And I think it'd be interesting just to open up our minds a little bit, and just it'd be interesting for me to hear your comments on things. Again, you can go to the-informant.com, or you can go to magabook.com and look up Informant Show, or you can email me at eric@the-informant.com. Wow, let's jump in here. President Trump, now we say this a lot. When I'm a conservative independent, President Trump has been doing what I would want a president to do, so I'm behind him 100%. And every week, every day, actually every hour, we keep getting more bad news on another illegal alien killed an American citizen. Another illegal alien drunk ran somebody over. Another illegal alien raped this girl. A group of illegal aliens stabbed this guy to death. The illegal aliens, MS-13 gang members, drugs, fentanyl, human trafficking, just every day, bad news, bad news, bad news. You know, DHS, we released 100,000 people in the last 3 months, 100,000 that are supposed to show up in 2 to 3 years from now for their asylum court date, but only 5% will probably show up. Now remember, when these illegal aliens get in the country, because they were bussed up to the border by the cartel, and they use a child to get guaranteed asylum into the country pending their hearing, if they have more children, those children are citizens. So all they have to do is get in the country, have a baby, anchor them in, not show up for the asylum hearing, and then let the government try to hunt down, I believe there's closer to 40 to 50 million illegal aliens in America. Well, how do you come up with that? Well, it's been at least 20 years since they started saying there's around 11 million illegal aliens in the country. And how they come up with that? Ronald Reagan, he gave amnesty to a little over 3 million illegal aliens. And then one generation later, since they typically double or more, that would have been 6 to 7. And then they were halfway through their grandchildren starting to have children. And then you end up at 11 million. But what's happened in the last 20 years, as millions and millions of more illegal aliens have poured in, having 3-4 children or double plus, because you need a country has to have around 1.7 children, right? So a couple gets married and they're going to have at least close to 2 children to try to maintain the culture. Well, the illegal aliens are having 3.0 or 4. So they're having double. Well, 11 would be 22, and then 22 would be 44. It's astronomical. A big question we're going to have in the best scenario, before I jump into here to what President Trump's what he's doing about shutting down the border. Question I have for you tonight: how do we deport, process 40 million people? 40 million illegal aliens. A lot of them who are getting welfare for the children that are living with them. And some of them are even getting tax returns for children that are not even in the United States, but they put them on the form anyway, and the government can't verify it. How do we take all of this illegal invasion and then turn them back around and push them back? The left doesn't think we're going to. The deep state, the globalist, not in a million years would the United States of America actually deport these people. So they just like, hey, cartel, keep bringing them up, run them through the same port, run them through the same area. The beds are full. They're going to have to release them. Great, let's bring up the next 20,000 from Guatemala and El Salvador, $2,500. Thank you very much. You can get in the bus that's on its way. Mexico doesn't stop them. Come on up, the same non-official point of entry to a El Paso or to McAllen, Texas. Just keep pouring them in, and because they know where the pressure points are. They know where we're full. When we're full, because the Congress, in their stupidity, wrote into law, that if somebody can get in the country, cross the border, and find a government official, the Border Patrol agent, and say, I'm seeking asylum because I'm fearing for my life from my home country, they're guaranteed, especially if they have a child, that they can get a hearing. But we're backed up over 1 million hearings. So, the dilemma is, if President Trump can build the wall and we stop the bleeding, do we have the courage to stop visas temporarily? Stop legal immigration? And then, how long would it take to process, hold all of these asylum? Because very few people that actually go in front of a judge are granted asylum. Very few. So I don't know, and it'd be nice to get your feedback. If you go on social media, look on Twitter even, Informant Show, or on MagaBook, or email me or whatever. But how do you think how are we going to deal with all of these people? So let's go. Los Angeles Times article. President Trump backs off threats to close border, capping a week of retreats. Did you know that? President Trump has been threatening Mexico, if you do not stop immediately all of the caravans and illegals coming up from south of you, then I'll shut down the border between Mexico and the United States. But this article says President Trump backed away from his threat to shut down the country's southern border, but vowed to impose additional tariffs on automobiles in a year. I understand what President Trump's doing. That will do absolutely nothing if Mexico doesn't do more to stop the flow of drugs and immigrants. How much more? What would be satisfactory? Quote, we're going to give them a year warning. And if the drugs don't stop or largely stop, we're going to put tariffs on Mexico and products, especially cars, unquote. Trump said Thursday, quote, the whole ball game is cars. Unquote. If that didn't work, he could still move to close the border, he added. A year from now. I don't understand. I don't understand. What is it he's talking to McConnell and Cornyn and everybody up there in the Senate, and they're saying, President Trump, we're going to back you here, but you're just going to have to back down there. I'm hoping there's a tit for tat or something going on here, because in a year, another 1.5 million illegal aliens plus, those are the ones we kind of can count. Let's say another 2.5 million people in the country getting aid, their kids going to school for free, they're filing tax returns. What happens in a year? Wait, Mr. Trump, this is Mexico, and we've done this, and that should be showing our good faith. Okay, no tariffs. And it'll be during the 2020 elections. So, continues the new threat of auto tariffs, which leading Republicans quickly suggested was a non-starter, came on the eve of Trump's visit to the California border. Hey, this is a station identification break already. You're listening to The Informant here on Spreaker and on the -informant.com and magabook.com. Thank you so much. Please try me on those 3 places, and let's fight to try to figure out a solution. This is not a solution. In a year, it says President Trump's announcement capped a series of retreats over the last several days by the president, whose blustery brand of policymaking has prompted surprisingly strong resistance from Republicans on Capitol Hill. Last week, President Trump told Republican senators he wanted them to try again to pass legislation repealing the Affordable Care Act. After Republicans privately and publicly rebuked him for that politically perilous idea, he pivoted Tuesday to a face-saving claim that his party would make repealing and replacing the health care law its first order of business in 2021. Oh, man. Although Republicans are publicly praising Trump for being prudent, that's a good sign he listens to us, quote unquote, said Senator Ron Johnson, Rhino. Their back-to-back rebukes have forced the White House to confront the risk of policy declarations delivered in tweets, a practice Trump often indulged in with little review in advance by his aides. The president's rhetoric is increasingly colliding with a brick wall of reality, said Michael Steele, Rhino. Benjamin, what's that? Arnold? Benjamin Arnold? Arnold, I don't know. The guy that was basically a backstabbing traitor. That President Trump is making all of these, decisions via tweets, but then in reality, he can't do them. Benedict Arnold. That's who I was trying to think of. Michael Steele actually ran the RNC, and he is a disaster now. He can't stand President Trump. And this goes on and on. So, Texas Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, both Republicans who seldom